Welcome back to Recap Lab. This video is the second and final part of our recap of Squid Game Season 1. If you haven't watched the first part, you'll find the link in the description below. Now let's dive into it. The lights were scheduled to go off after 30 minutes. Sang-woo instructed his team to stay alert and take turns keeping watch. Meanwhile, Jang's team, wary of internal betrayal, decided to be cautious, as Jang feared his teammates might turn on him. Elsewhere, the doctor and the guards were harvesting organs from the deceased players. Guards 28 and 29 were tasked with delivering the organs, and they joked about one of the bodies having only one kidney, referring to it as a zombie. However, Guard 29 was actually the undercover officer. Hearing this, he suspected the conversation might be about his missing brother, who also has only one kidney. As Guards 28 and 29 headed to deliver the organs, the officer noticed a bomb planted in the tunnel. Guard 28 explained that the place would be blown up once they left. The officer tried to extract more information, but Guard 28 grew suspicious and demanded that Guard 29 show his face. When the officer finally removed his mask, he pointed a gun at Guard 28 and demanded to know more about the person with one kidney. Guard 28 revealed it was a girl and suggested the officer check the leader's room for all the records. With this information, the officer eliminated Guard 28. Meanwhile, the doctor grew frustrated as the guards couldn't reveal the details of the next game. Enraged, he attacked a guard and escaped into the playground area. However, a guard pursued him and cornered him. Before anything could happen, the leader arrived, eliminated both the doctor and the pursuing guard, and discovered the body of Guard 28. Realizing there was an infiltrator in the facility, the leader became suspicious. The officer eventually reached the leader's office and found a room containing detailed records of all the games and their winners. While going through the files, he discovered his brother's name listed among the winners. This shocking revelation confirmed his brother had once survived the game. Back in the game, the players were instructed to pair up for the fourth round. They scrambled to find partners, with Saebyok's female friend struggling to find someone willing to team up with her. Eventually, each player was given a pouch containing 10 marbles. The objective of this round was to win all the marbles from their partner without using force. The player who lost all their marbles would be eliminated. Sang-woo and Song's friend chose to play an even and odd guessing game. They had to predict the number of marbles in the other person's hand. Song's friend outplayed Sang-woo and won nearly all of his marbles, leaving Sang-woo with just one marble for the final round. Knowing his life was at stake, Sang-woo deceived his friend by convincing him that if one of them lost, their match would be replayed. During the game, Sang-woo secretly switched Song's friend's marbles with stones. He handed the marbles to the guard, ensuring his survival. When Song's friend checked his pouch, he discovered the betrayal too late. Elsewhere, player 001 struggled due to his deteriorating condition, aimlessly wandering around. Song persuaded him to play the even and odd game. Surprisingly, the old man won most of Song's marbles. However, in the final round, the old man pretended to forget his choice, allowing Song to take his remaining marbles. The old man wasn't as clueless as he seemed. He had cleverly kept one marble to himself. As he wandered again, Song begged him to play another game. The old man then revealed, "I know you took my marbles by cheating. I knew everything. I just pretended to be a fool." Overwhelmed with guilt, Song returned all the marbles to him. Meanwhile, Saebyok and her female partner played their own game. The goal was to throw their marbles as close to the wall as possible. Saebyok threw her marbles first, and when it was her partner's turn, she unexpectedly threw all her marbles at once. Saebyok, shocked, asked her friend to try again, but her friend refused, saying, "Saebyok, I have no one waiting for me, but your brother is still out there waiting for you." Accepting her fate, Saebyok's friend sacrificed herself. Afterward, their bodies were taken away and the remaining players returned to their rooms. Jang noticed Saebyok sitting silently, mourning her friend. It's revealed that Saebyok's friend was once close to Jang, but they had a falling out. Their animosity stemmed from a history of bullying, with Jang's friend tormenting him. Elsewhere, the frontman discovered the officer's ID card near a dead body. He quickly realized that the VIPs had arrived and moved to receive them. The VIPs were escorted to their luxurious viewing rooms, and the frontman informed another man, whose identity will be revealed later, about their presence. The next day, the fifth game was announced. The players were asked to select numbers between 1 and 16. These numbers would determine their order in the game. As the selection neared its end, only numbers 1 and 16 were left. Song hesitated, torn between going first, despite not knowing the game, or choosing last and risking the game ending before his turn. Before he could decide, a man approached Song and pleaded for the first spot, saying, "I've never been first in anything in my life." Reluctantly, Song let him take the number, leaving him with 16. The players were then led to the gaming arena, where they faced a deadly bridge. The rules were simple, but terrifying. They had to cross the bridge within the time limit. Each step required choosing between two glass panels, one made of regular glass that would shatter under their weight, and the other made of tempered glass strong enough to hold them. The game began, and one by one, players fell to their deaths. Zhang, who was at the front, froze in fear, unwilling to move forward. His tormentor, the woman who had been bullying him, stepped forward and confronted him. "I told you I'd take you down someday," she said. Grabbing him, she leapt onto the bridge, taking Zhang with her as they plummeted to their deaths. One of the players, a glass factory worker, used his expertise to identify the tempered glass panels. Realizing this gave the players an advantage, the front man turned off the lights, making it impossible for them to differentiate between the panels. With time running out, Sang-woo took drastic action. He pushed the glass worker off the bridge to advance. Ultimately, Sang-woo, Song, and Se-byok made it across, but not unscathed. The exploding glass at the end injured all three, with Se-byok sustaining a serious wound. Meanwhile, the officer, now disguised as a servant, infiltrated the VIP lounge. One of the VIPs grew suspicious of him and demanded he remove his mask. Calmly, the officer replied, "I will, but only once we're inside." The officer moves inside with the VIP. Once inside, he makes the VIP lose consciousness. However, the frontman quickly realizes this and begins chasing the officer. The officer narrowly escapes and reaches a nearby island. While there, he attempts to contact his superiors, but the call gets disconnected. He tries to send all the evidence, but due to poor network connectivity, the messages fail. As the frontman catches up and captures him, he pleads with the officer to come with him peacefully. Instead, the officer fires his gun at the frontman. When the frontman removes his mask, the officer is shocked to see that it is none other than his own brother. However, his brother, the frontman, shoots him and the officer falls into the water below. Meanwhile, Se-byok is severely injured from the shattered glass and is bleeding heavily. The remaining survivors are taken to dinner, where they notice knives placed near their plates. It's clear that the organizers expect them to turn on each other during the night. Song observes Se-byok's worsening condition and reassures her, saying, "Don't worry. We'll defeat Sang-woo together and then we'll leave. We'll split the money and everything will be fine." Se-byok, weak but earnest, tells Song about her older brother, whom she left in an orphanage. She pleads, "If one of us makes it out alive, promise to take care of both families." Song, determined, goes to request medical help for Se-byok. However, by the time he returns, Sang-woo has already ended her life. The next day, the final game begins, the Squid Game. The rules are brutally simple. Only one of them can survive. The match escalates into a fierce and emotional battle between Song and Sang-woo. As the fight reaches its climax, Sang-woo becomes gravely injured. In a surprising turn, Song offers to end the game and walk away together. However, Sang-woo, overcome with guilt, takes his own life, allowing Song to win. The frontman congratulates Song, saying, "You played well, but I never expected this outcome." Song is then returned home with an ATM card. When he checks the balance, he discovers that all the prize money has been deposited into his account. Upon arriving home, Song finds his mother has passed away. The story then shifts to a year later. Song is shown living in despair, grappling with guilt and trauma. He hasn't spent a single penny of his winnings. One day, a woman selling flowers approaches him and hands him a familiar card with an address written on it. Song visits the address and discovers that the mastermind behind the games was none other than the old man, Player One. Still alive, the old man reveals his reasons for creating the games. "I was tired of life," he confesses. "My wealthy clients and I designed these games as a form of entertainment, watching people make desperate choices. But we never forced anyone to play. I even joined the game because participating was far more thrilling than observing." Before passing away, the old man admits, "The money you have, it's mine." Following this encounter, Song fulfills his promise to Sae-byok. He finds her brother and leaves him in the care of Sang-woo's mother, handing her a bag full of money to support them. As Song prepares to leave, he encounters the mysterious man from the start of the story, recruiting another participant. Song chases him, but the man escapes. Frustrated and desperate for answers, Song calls the number on the card. On the other end, a voice warns him, "Song, if you want to live, get on the plane." And with that, the story ends.